My entitled neighbor laughed when I asked him to move from my paid spot. He wasn't laughing when he called from the impound lot. There's a special kind of fury you feel seeing another car in the parking spot you pay an extra $100 a month for. My apartment building has a nightmare parking situation. It's street parking only for blocks, unless you pay for one of the few assigned spots in the garage. My spot, 5B, is my prized possession. Then Chad moved in next door. The first time, I found his flashy new sports car in 5B. I figured it was an honest mistake. I left a polite note on his windshield. Hey, welcome to the building. This is an assigned spot, hashtag 5B. Thanks. The next day, my note was gone. His car was back in my spot. This time, I caught him as he was getting out. I rolled down my window. Hey, I said, trying to stay calm. You're in my spot again. I left you a note. He looked at me, then at the giant, 5B, painted on the wall, and smirked. He literally smirked at me. Oh, relax, he said. It's just a spot. I'll move it later. I was stunned. I need it now. I pay for it. He just shrugged, said, finders keepers, and walked inside. I had to park 6 blocks away and walk back in the dark. This became his routine. He'd take my spot 3 or 4 times a week. I complained to the building manager, who was completely useless. I left angry notes. He ignored them all. The final straw was last Thursday. A massive storm hit. I was coming home with a trunk full of groceries. And there he was, parked snug and dry in 5B. I just snapped. I had to park in an uncovered lot 2 buildings over. The second I stepped out, my paper grocery bag soaked through and split open. Cans, apples, a full box of pasta, all over the wet pavement. I stood there in the pouring rain, almost in tears, and I just felt cold. I left the groceries. I walked back to my apartment, dripping wet. I got my lease agreement, my phone, and I went straight back down to the garage. I called the towing company listed in our building's welcome packet. I showed the tow driver my lease, with spot 5B, clearly assigned to my unit number. He looked at my soaking wet clothes, looked at Chad's car, and just nodded. I didn't go back inside. I stood there, under the garage overhang, and watched the whole thing. The sound of the truck's hydraulics and the screech of his tires was the most satisfying thing I'd ever heard. I even recorded it to use as ASMR later on. The next morning, I was woken up by screaming. I looked out my window and saw Chad in the garage, pointing at the empty space, his face bright red. He started hammering on my door. I opened it, holding my morning coffee. He was vibrating with rage. You towed my car. I took a slow sip. I'm not sure what you mean, I said, in my calmest, most neutral voice. I just follow the rules. My lease says any unauthorized vehicles in my paid spot will be towed. Maybe you should read yours. He had to pay $480 to get his car back. He also got a formal warning from the building. Turns out they do care when a tow truck is involved. He now parks on the street, 6 blocks away. It's been a week of beautiful, blessed silence. So, I ate for finally enforcing the rules he thought he was above.